once again to the Great Scott Podcast. Today I am joined by legendary musician and actor, Mr. Billy Gilman. How's it going, Billy?
I don't know much about the acting, but the singing maybe.
Singing.
Hello.
Hi, Billy. It's so nice to have you on and so nice to talk to you. I've been a fan for many, many years.
Thank you. I mean, by the list that you've acquired on this podcast, it's my honor as well. I see some names I've toured with and worked with and met. So congratulations to you too. That's awesome.
You're so kind, Billy. While you're on the subject, who are some of the people that I've had on that you've had the pleasure of touring with?
Oh my gosh. Terry Clark. Um, name as because it's been a long day. Name some of the people. There Daryl Worley.
Yeah, Daryl Worley.
Who's a great guy. I toured with him right around the time. Um, oh my gosh, it was right around 2002 because it was right before my voice started to change.
Yeah.
So these names, seeing them, bring back a lot of memories because you don't think of some of them. So it was great to see that their names are back up there as well.
So one thing that I think that you might be excited about is that the Jerry Lewis Telethon is coming back. You're
I
a youth ambassador for Jerry Lewis, and you appeared on there every single year.
Yeah.
Will we see your face on there again?
Actually, they have not asked, so I know it's a completely different outfit. I don't know whom they're asking as far as the Jerry Lewis Telethon of the past, be it acts, hosts, past patients that we've profiled. I have no idea what they're doing, but I wish them all the best. But I haven't heard anything as of yet. But it's very exciting because I hope my only hope is that they do what they did before, where every bit of the proceeds that you saw on the tote board every year goes directly towards the funding and the kids and the adults. I hope that there isn't some agenda behind the scenes, which I hope there would never be, but you never know. So I just wish them all the best.
I hope that we get a cure here going pretty soon. They said it was supposed to be in Jerry's lifetime, but I guess that didn't happen.
There were a couple of trial runs of certain drugs. I remember a girl named Kian, and I met her in the early 2000s, and she was being wheeled around by her mom and her dad. She was being profiled. I don't know if she made it on the actual broadcast, but she was close because there's so many they profile and then
Yeah.
because of the hours of when they're kids, you have to be careful. They can't be profiled at 4 a.m.
Right.
So there was a short window, but she came back to telethon time after time, and then was being treated for. I believe she had. I want to say myasthenia gravis, but you can't quote me on that. But
Yeah.
she was in a trial run and she could walk down the hallway and
Oh,
gave me a hug. So there are advancements happening. It just, with the FDA, it takes so long, probably even longer than Jerry Lewis even thought. So
yeah.
hopefully with this, it'll shoot it over the moon as far as finding a cure for. There's a lot of diseases within that umbrella, 41 diseases. So step by step.
Absolutely. Well, going to your career here, you kind of credit your grandmother for kind of getting you to where you're at today. She kind of was a big instrument in your success.
Absolutely. She was the one that went behind my mom's back because my mother did not want me to enter the world into music because we come from a very small town. So all you really watched was like Access Hollywood and the Inquirer at the Stop and Shop. So you didn't really see very encouraging headlines being in a small area, especially with, you know, they didn't have social media to really find out the truth immediately. So, there was just let him be normal, let him go to school. But my grandmother, my mom's mom, saw that there was something really different. And she said, well, I've arranged for you to meet a vocal coach. But we're not going to tell mom and dad yet. We're just going to lunch. So, like 7 Tuesdays went by, and my mother figured, okay, this isn't lunch every week. Something's going on. So then, my grandmother had to say, well, don't get mad, but I've been taken into a voice coach. And by that time, it had really started to catch. And I was really, learning so much of what to do with placement of your high notes and your belting and your show quality of what you do on stage. And, my parents really saw me thriving, so they couldn't say stop. And so yeah, she was really the one that started the fire, that saw it. I mean, I was singing. There's no memory of me not singing. There's a video of me at 18 months old humming the Jeopardy theme. So there's not there's it was only kind of a matter of time rather than something that I chose. Um,
So
so yeah,
Billy,
she saw it very early on and grabbed on and said,
it sounds
we're
like
gonna
there's two people involved in your career for your success: your grandmother and Alex Trebek.
Yeah, exactly. Merv Griffin, really, because he created some great song, right?
Yes.
Very catchy.
I wonder if they knew they would be creating such a huge success by having someone hum their tune. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I'm sure I'm not the only singer that
No.
started humming that theme. That show's been around forever, but
Pretty
maybe.
much. Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, so you said that you came from a small town. You actually came from the smallest state in our United States. How does a kid from Rhode Island come to Hollywood?
Well, it's easy. Well, Hollywood's more of a term that would be easier to go into from the East Coast to the West Coast. I went into, like, Wrangler jeans and cowboy boots
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
from the New York area. But I will tell you, it's like, I don't know if you've had her on. I didn't see her in the list, but another great country singer that's had a lot of success, Jody Messina. She comes from Massachusetts. So we are very country oriented up here, which is deceiving, I guess. I mean, people are
Yeah.
selling out Wet Stadium, which is 82,000 seats. Kenny Chesney does like two. He does a weekend
Yeah.
run. So I mean, it's very, very popular here, but we still have that overall look of, oh, they're not country fans, and there's so many. I mean, that's what I grew up listening to. Every Friday night, it was the Grand Ole Opry on TNN when TNN was still around. So that's what I was naturally around and naturally gravitated towards. And um, I think what really in the infantile stages of this, it impressed them for a 9-year-old to know Eddie Arnold and Fair and Young and Webb Pierce and Patsy Cline and
Yeah.
sing the songs. So I think they knew it was more than just, oh, I think I want to do country music. I knew the history because I watched so many specials, and every Friday night it was the Opry who would throw it back to old clips and all that. So I really had just a vast knowledge of what I was stepping into very early on.
And you, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the youngest musician to have a top 40 hit on the country charts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't remember recording the song, but I remember when I was at CAA, the agency at the time. They awarded me in this great big conference room because I'll never forget. I felt so tiny because I was like 4'8", 4'8", and this conference table had to have been 20 feet long. I mean, it could probably seat 30 people, 40 people, right? And they walk all the way down this table, and they present me with a number one plaque for one voice. So it's funny what you don't remember and what you do remember. But yeah, it's quite the honor. I broke Brenda Lee's record, 1957, I believe. She had her number one record. So from 1957 to 2000, she still held it. So when I met her at Fanfare, which is a country music festival where artists sign in booths and for hours and meet fans and do meet and greet fan club things, I met her at a seminar for CRS, which is country radio, and she said, "You beat me." Not even a hello, how
Did
are
you
you?
end up kicking your ass?
Yeah, oh yeah, hours and hours, and early in the morning because all those radio stations are live. So if it's California, you got to be up very early.
Yeah.
So, or if it's no, if it's California to the East Coast, you're up very early. Yeah, that's what it is. You could sleep in if it's 3 hours
Yeah.
in the East. But yeah, so she was really gracious about it and funny, and we have a picture. I think I just posted that not too long ago, so it's a good memory.
So you posted that on your Instagram?
I think so. Yeah, a
Yeah.
few weeks back, as a throwback Thursday, I think I did that, or maybe I went to do it and forgot. Knowing me, that's probably what happened.
Yeah. So, Billy, anybody who knows you knows that you've had a lot of trials within your young life. One being your coming out as
Mhm.
being a gay man. Um, was that probably, say, your biggest struggle throughout your career, knowing who you are as a person, on who Billy Gilman really is?
It's funny because I really didn't pay attention to that in those stages of where you think I would, because I mean, uh, in reality, I was just this formula before I became a person, if you will. I was a personality before I got to, I never did the real schooling where you fit in and you find your niche and you find your this as a human being. I was thrown onto a stage, which was my choice, mind you. It wasn't that I was being pushed. So I never really thought about it. It never entered my mind until I started to songwrite and and that's when it really connected, um, that I might be, well, that I was a gay man. So when I came out, of course I was scared to death because you don't know how. I mean, you are at the. If I worked behind the desk in corporate, you can kind of hide, and it's what it is. You deal with it yourself and your family, and that's big
Yeah.
enough. But you're at the mercy of people buying your tickets. You're at the mercy of people buying your records or your downloads or your T-shirts or your whatever. So I was scared that people weren't going to buy. But the overwhelming support that I had, especially going forward and doing the voice and speaking my truth, um, if anything, I'm sure I don't even know if I lost people. But, I always handle situations with the respect that I want back.
Yeah.
And uh, I didn't, there was a big magazine that wanted to do a cover, and I said no because it's going to look like I have an agenda other than just speaking truth. Oh, he wants to sell a book, he wants to sell a record, he wants to sell a song. That wasn't the issue. I wanted to tell my fans the deal.
Was it
You know,
for a gay or lesbian magazine that they wanted to interview you, or?
oh no, this was on the newsstands, big one.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I said no, it just feels doesn't feel right to me. And so I kept thinking of ways to do it that if it went viral, well, then it's on its own. People wanted to pay attention or get whatever. So that's
Yeah.
why I did it via YouTube. Um, and the amount of letters that I got from kids and older people, a lot, a melting pot of ages that said thank you because they came from knowing my song in Little Rock, Arkansas, or Akron, Ohio, or yeah, all these little areas that might be a little bit more conservative in their thinking. The support and the wording down to the sentence of I now have a voice and someone to look up to that my parents they loved you as a kid, so now they have no choice but to think, okay, well, he's okay, so you'll be okay, or
Yeah.
whatever the thought process may be.
Yeah.
I was kind of a voice for them, and that's bigger than my own battle. It's because I have a wonderful family, I have a wonderful support system, I have a wonderful boyfriend and his family. It's an extended amazing thing, so I'm very lucky to have something to fall back on where literally Chris and I will go to some of these functions and we will see where kids are being thrown out onto the street and they have to live under the overpass. That's
Yeah.
a reality. So if I could be a voice for them, and it should never be considered normal because it just should be what is. But for people in middle of America, if I can do something that makes it feel more normal in a weird way, shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately that's the mentality, then I'm happy to be that voice. So it was bigger than my career, even though my career was on the line. We're dealing with human lives, not just a job. So I was very thankful and grateful that people came out and not only supported but said I don't feel alone.
And you also had
Right.
quite a few of, I think, a few of your celebrity friends who said congratulations to you or something that they said that they supported you. Um,
Yeah,
were
very
you,
grateful.
and I think you just mentioned this too, but uh, were you surprised by the outpouring, knowing that, hey, these people still love me, my fan base still loves me, even though I am who I am here?
Yes, and then I thought, you know what? I had a hit record, or I had success 10 years ago. In 5 minutes, you have a new audience because the attention span is so small.
Yeah,
People watch 5-second TikToks. So I thought, if people were upset about it, well, then there'll be five more people that did not know who Billy Gilman was at all that will come on board and be supportive at the gate right now for what it's worth.
yeah,
So I was nervous because I don't want to let anyone down, even though that's a that's my personal life. It's whom I am. It's not a choice, whatever. I don't care if I let someone down on that respect, but you worry. You cannot help but worry, especially like I said, you're at the you're at the mercy of people,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you just have to be who you are, stand tall, and hopefully people will respect you as you've respected them to do it in such a way. Like I'm not one to go out and be brash about it. It's just
yeah,
not one.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
But so you had mentioned that you were on The Voice, and you came up on runner up with Team Adam Levine,
Mm.
and it was kind of against doctor's orders at first for you to go on the program, if I'm not mistaken here. You were told no, don't do it, because I think your voice was not quite properly as it should be.
Oh no, it was that at that point it was fine. I took 2 years actually. Well, a year and a half. 2 years before I did it, I really took a year and just totally retrained my throat because my voice changed very slowly. I mean, I had my teeth come in when I was a kid at like a year. I mean, I was a very slow process child, I guess, and my voice changed very slowly. Now, could it be because I was so trained and did voice exercises where it was stretched? There's all these variables of why. Um, but at that point, my voice was fine. What I was nervous about was I didn't have to rely on a reality show in the beginning. Why should I have to do it now? That was the no process, which was self-inflicted. They asked for 3 years. Would I be interested in doing that show? They kept calling the management office saying, "Oh, we think his story would fit. We love it. But do you think he'll do it?" And I would automatically slam the phone. No, no, not for me, not for me. So then the fourth year they asked, I took a long pause instead of saying just a no. Because no matter what, as I got older, I saw that's a great opportunity no matter what, for one reason and one reason only. We're in an industry now that does not, I mean, it's probably of less than 1% that will do a artist development deal, which means you're kind of signed to the label. There's no slated release yet, but they're gonna put money into you. They're gonna put money into your look. They're gonna put money into your songs to see if it can be formulated as a hit. They don't do that anymore. So I thought this is like an artist development deal. You see me week after week grow, do my thing,
Yep.
and the fans that will remember will go, "Oh my God, there he is again." And the fans that have no clue who I am will go, "Oh, who is this? We kind of like this," or hopefully. So I thought, why not? So then I had a couple of meetings with past record reps that I worked with and past managers that I had and lawyers and whatever. And they all literally, down to the same sentence, said, "What have you got to lose?" So I said, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride and step on that stage because they always could not turn around. That's the reality. And that's what I thought was going to happen. But fortunately, I was wrong.
And it seems like something good always comes out of over on the other side of fear. It seems like
Yep.
something good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're not growing unless you're doing something that's completely out of your comfort zone. And I've come to learn that because
Yeah.
being told being told how to dress, there's teleprompters telling you what to say when you're 10 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15, you get in a comfort bubble of, okay, well, I had this, so how do, where, it's very easy to get comfortable. in that situation if you're able to. And I was. So for me to step out that hard is very difficult for me and always has been. But it's exciting, and after that, I've taken way more risks than I've ever taken in my life, losses and which may lead to highs, may lead to a low you don't like, but
Yeah.
that's true growth, I really think, in life. So yeah, it was a big putting your toe in the water, that's for sure.
So, as you mentioned, you were famous quite young. I mean, this fame really happened quite quick to you.
Hmm.
Did you handle the whole fame thing quite well at a young age, or did you were you able to do the normal things that a normal child was able to do, like have a social life, or I know you said maybe not so much on the schooling part, but
Right.
maybe overall in the aspect of social life, being able to just be a kid.
Absolutely. That was the one thing that probably why I've been able to endure the highs and the lows because I have such a great family. They didn't care if I sold a million records or if I was the assistant principal at our local school. They just want to see me happy and make your bed when you'd come home. There's no hotel mates here. I'm your mother, not your maid. I was of equal, and I have a younger brother, and I'd come home and I was his older brother. I was nothing else. That is a true win, and I see so many younger artists whose parents want to be their managers or walk down the red carpets with them, and it does them no justice and leads them down roads that are unfortunate. So I'm very fortunate to have been able to come home, and it didn't matter who I was, and it's still to this day won't matter what I've done. They're happy that I've done it, everyone, but you go back to real life, and I think that's such a great turn off to create a normality. Yeah, so I really endured it very well, and I was always like a caregiver. Like I was always nervous. Are people okay? Were my truck drivers okay? Were my parents okay? Was this okay? So I was never like, well, I am. I
Yeah.
was always nervous that I was doing a good job. Was it enough? And are people okay? So I just wasn't in my blood to be anything but.
Do you think that's the one downfall of young child celebrities, that their parents are wanting to be controlling of them or for whatever else? I mean,
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you don't know what you're doing. Some had no idea, but they thought they were just, because there's one that will be nameless, but it was huge. So when it's that level, you don't really have to hunt for anything. It all comes to you. Then you're just kind of minding the store, and the parents get involved, and they've really never done that kind of thing, their lives, and they get a sense of celebrity.
yeah,
It's trouble because then
yeah.
it's all blurred lines. There's no normal. There's no shut off.
And then ever since then, Jackie Coogan has also fought for young child stars, and Paul Peterson as well. I know that there's like a cap where parents are not able to touch the money of their
Right.
kids. Um,
Right.
so,
Which is smart. I
yeah.
think that's great, but they shouldn't. I mean, if whatever,
Oh
it's
no,
not
go
my.
ahead, go ahead.
You wonder why would they do that anyway? But
Yeah, that's true. No, that's definitely true. So, one other thing that I wanted to ask you about is there was a time where, I mean, things weren't really taking off for you at one time,
hmm.
because you almost quit the music scene, which thank God you didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you're quite happy now knowing on the other side of what has happened. But did you have a plan B if music did not? Yeah,
No, there was no plan B, and that's what was the scary part. Um, yeah, there was no. I remember 2007, eight, 8 or 9. It was 8 or 9 because it was around the last telethons. I was sitting at. They used to give me a desk to do the work that I had to do for the association, and I remember sitting at that desk and writing a letter of to my fans of how I can't do it anymore, and time,
yeah.
in red because I thought red meant final. So I still have that letter somewhere. But yeah, there was a time. There are still moments when I go, I don't know. But no, I mean, now more than ever, there's great opportunity, and people are seeing that, wow, he stuck with this for this many years and just pushed,
Yeah.
people, which is exciting and great. I've always felt the same. I haven't changed. I'm just doing what I know I was put on this earth to do. So there, you just push. I was watching a Joan Rivers documentary the other night. Talk about someone that went through extreme. I mean, I've gone through some bad lows,
Yeah.
but extreme lows and have a child to care for too. I can't imagine that. Um, so I mean, with anything, I mean, look where we are right now in this time in our lives when so many people have lost their jobs because of this hideous disease.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's just life, Not no one is handed the card to aid you all the way through and have be up and successful. There's just no way, And I think looking back on it, and I still have a long way to go, mind you. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting high on the horse. I mean, I still have a long journey left at only 32 years old. But thinking about it, because I've done this for now 22 years professionally, which usually if you start at a normal age, you'd be hitting 40 and 50. I'm
Yeah.
only 30. But if you don't experience those moments of real sadness or low, you really can't appreciate the highs. It's impossible. It's just not a real vision if you don't
Yeah.
experience some of that. So even though I don't want to, there's no choice. I think it's just the reality of a business, any business, but our business just has it a little bit more. You know, it's a little
Does
bit
it,
more
let
harsh.
me ask you this. Do you think that, are you liking what you're seeing in the music industry now as opposed to, say, when you started 22 years ago?
There are things I did not like about it a few years ago that it's switching. The technology part I didn't like in the beginning, or like the social media part, but now I love it because if there's a discrepancy or if there's an issue or if there's like, for instance, we had this fake Billy Gilman years ago, right? Before really, I mean, we only had MSN chats to talk to our fans, and they would crash when you'd get like 100,000, and then you'd have to do it the next day because it wouldn't come back. I mean, really beginning stages of, I don't even think there was AIM yet, but so there really wasn't anything like that. But there were people that were being fake Billy Gilmans and reaching out to these fans, and they
Oh,
believed
yeah.
it would take months to help these people with a truth alert or whatever. Now you can instantly get to them. That I love, being able to instantly reach the fans. The music, there's always times in eras of music that aren't so great, or some are better than others, or whatever. But I'm really liking where country music is at this moment. I really feel it's getting it. There's some great melodies and great lyrics and great moments where it's not just that same branded sound. They're getting back to a little bit from how I grew up with it, which is exciting, which was more of the message content and the singing and not so much the beat or the hook of the chorus, and it's played 500 times throughout the one song. So
Yeah.
there are moments of the music business that I will always love, and that's touring and doing concerts when we could do concerts 9 months ago. Um, but there was always going to be moments of the industry that you don't care for, but I think it's turning around a little bit, which is exciting. I really do.
So, any plans for you to come back on tour? I know we're still in the virus, but if you do, come to Kansas City.
Definitely. I think Kansas City was due it for in November, but yeah, March 3rd was my last trip, and then the week after we all shut down, and we've lost quite a bit of shows like everyone else. I mean, I think to myself, I'm very fortunate. There will always be work, there will always be concerts, there will always be opportunity, and my heart goes out to like the people of Broadway,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
these flies and these dancers who rely on that income because it's such an expensive city, they must be scared to death, especially if they've left their little Kansas City town to meet their dream of being on Broadway and their parents don't get it or whatever. So my heart
Yeah.
goes out to the entire entertainment industry. I mean, the touring company that does like Disney on Ice and Monster Jam and all those great things that people go see, they laid off 90% of their company.
Yeah.
Live Nation is really struggling. I mean, huge things. People don't realize Live Nation. I mean, you go to see these, country fests or, Rascal Flats or Ariana Grande or
Right.
they're all Live Nation artists. So I'm very interested to see where it all goes, and I just pray for it because no matter what, we're one of the hardest hit industries eh, with this pandemic. Nonetheless, I mean, we rely on crowds, and that's the number
Yeah.
one thing you're not supposed to be in. So,
Well, this is
I'll,
one of the toughest industries,
yeah,
period, minus a coronavirus.
absolutely,
Yeah. Well, Billy, I have one more question for you, sir. You're a very nice man to come on, and I do absolutely appreciate your time for coming on.
oh no, my pleasure.
Um, what advice do you give? I know that I think that music has become more popular. You see more people wanting to become more artists
Mm.
and all that. I mean, because I do stand up and all that, and I'm trying to get into that realm, but I have quite a few artist friends who are trying to make it in the music industry. But what advice do
Mhm.
you give to the aspiring artist of tomorrow?
Of course, never lose the dream.
Yeah,
Um, never, never let, never lose yourself. Meaning, I almost did in the moment of I knew that country music is totally where I am supposed to be in the realm of the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it emotes. You can't fake that emotion. You just in America is very smart. The world is very smart. Um, don't get into this situation where they're giving you this wonderful contract, but you have to be this. That's a short shelf life. You always have to be what you are. Never lose sight of your nucleus. Um, and it has to be what you are. If you wake up one day and look in the mirror and you're working for Geico and you go, I want to be a singer, it's not going to work. It's just not, I mean, maybe of a small percentage, but it has to be everything you encompass in order to deal with the highest and the lowest of lows. It's rough. But if it's all that you are, there is no other way for you, and just go full steam ahead. There's always room for everybody in some fashion, I believe. Um,
absolutely. I
and
agree.
you have to be happy with that. If you reach the highest you can reach and you have this great act on at this fantastic theater bar on Broadway at Nashville and you're making great money and you're doing what you love, that might be your lane. And then you never know who will step inside. Or if you want to be a behind the scenes person on Broadway and that's it. That's great. That's enough. That's what you love. There's all these levels and that's where everybody's piece of the puzzle can fit. Yeah, it's a small margin of people that get to the 5% of the Adeles and the Justin Timberlakes and the Garths, but you just never know, and just keep pushing. You never stop. It only stops when you stop.
And I saw a tattoo when you raised your arm there. What does the tattoo say?
So going back to the earlier interview with my grandmother when she passed away, um, I put that on my arm, and it's per sempre al mio cuore, which means for always in my heart.
Oh,
Um,
that's
and I
sweet.
put it on my right hand because she was my right hand woman. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Is your grandmother still with us?
No,
No,
she
okay.
passed away. Oh my word. 11 years ago. We were planning a big concert for my 21st birthday. We were doing a birthday bash at a casino, and people were flying in, and she passed away a day after. So yeah, she was there in
Well,
spirit.
yeah, I'm sure she's looking down, happy what she's seeing with her grandson.
I hope so, with all of her grandkids.
And one more thing, Billy. Will you always be a Voice fan? Always gonna watch every episode of The Voice, and
Absolutely. I mean, if I'm traveling, I don't get to see I'll get a recap, but yeah, the boys
someone
will
will
come
tell
to
you about it.
me. it never stops. I mean,
Yeah.
I still talk to some contestants that didn't even get a shot on it that I roomed with, or that we had conference lunches with. It becomes a family instantly. So yeah, I'll always be for The Voice. Absolutely.
Well, good. Well, Billy Gilman, thank you so much for your time, sir. Much continued success, and can't wait to see you back here in Kansas City. Hopefully, that'll be sooner rather than later.
I remember doing an outdoor concert 3 or 4 years ago, and there was like 6,000 people. So Kansas, I like they like me. So
You
hopefully
do.
we'll be
You
back
marked
very
it.
soon when this whole pandemic ends, which hopefully is sooner rather than later, because I miss you all.
Well, thank you. We absolutely love you, and thank you so much for your time, Billy.
Have a great night. Be safe.